invite us over for a picnic, eh, Luigi? I hope she made lots of spaghetti. No.
Netflix recently released Iron Fist. It's the 4th entry in their Marvel Netflix original TV show universe, and it's another prelude to the Defenders. So Connor, why don't you give us a little bit of an in-depth explanation of the plot of Iron Fist?
Well, Iron Fist stars what's fucking curly-headed dude. His character is Danny Rand. Basically, his family co-owned Rand Corporation with fucking Norman Osborn, and one day they were flying out to fucking China or some shit, and their plane crashed, and then Danny was trained by some monks, and eventually through rite of passage became the Iron Fist, and he uses his skills with the Iron Fist to eventually fight the forces of the Hand, who it's revealed killed his parents or sabotaged the plane, killing his parents. There's a lot of things that have to do with him kind of trying to reclaim his place. He kind of has to reconnect with Joy and Ward, who are the current owners of the Rand Corporation, after their dad supposedly passed away, but he was really alive through the Hand's super cloning, and a lot of it's kind of about the arc of them moving on. There's also what's-her-face, the Chinese lady, and the nurse shows up a bunch, and they fight the Hand. I don't know, it's kind of hard to do a full plot synopsis just with the episodic thing, but the gist of it is that he fights the Hands. There's some betrayals, some shit that goes on, but yeah.
Harold? No, wait.
Harold. Oh, Harold was the guy.
Harold.
Ward was the son.
Harold is a zombie that the Hand brought back from the dead, and Harold's becomes the main villain, and also Harold's a zombie, and that doesn't really matter, but he's like the final boss. And there's like this Asian girl that he boinks, and the Asian girl's part of the Hand, and she's like, the Hand is really good guys, but then she's like, no, the Hand's not good guys.
Well, yeah, she thinks parts of the Hand are good guys.
Like a bunch of, it's a lot of stuff that happens, and it's really hard to go into the entire plot synopsis. That'll take them like 3 hours, so. You can start with your thoughts on Iron Fist. Or anything you feel you need to talk about in greater detail.
Alright, well, Iron Fist, honestly, it was a pretty good show. I'm not going to go into the plot that much more, just because it's kind of hard with TV shows to do a full plot, but I don't really understand the controversy and why everyone's like, Iron Fist is the worst show ever. Like, honestly, it was
people.
Yeah, I mean, apparently it was whitewashed when that's how it kind of always was a white guy. But I guess it's racist now because he does kung fu, and white people can't do kung fu, obviously. So it's obviously racist because white people can't do kung fu, which I understand, you know. Just like white people can't shoot guns.
It's cultural appropriation.
Just like white people can't sell drugs, you know?
Asian culture, just like Doctor Strange did.
Yeah.
But Doctor Strange had CGI, so...
CGI mattered. No, but I thought the show was pretty good. I thought the acting in it was okay. Kind of fell flat with, I can't remember his girlfriend's character name right now, but it fell a little flat there. The nurse pretty much did her normal performances. Danny was kind of soft-spoken, and he kind of just like drifted between the episodes as plot points happened to him, and he would just like react by like shaking his head and crying, or
he was a really
standing there and
neutral character,
being stern. And just part of it is his characterization, but it kind of fell flat for me. Like here's fucking Danny Rand, and he's emo, and he stands here all fucking day doing nothing, looking like a dumbass. But honestly, he was okay. He had a job and succeeded at it, and that was standing there and doing kung fu. The action in the show was okay. I think the part that really shined was actually like the corporate drama of the Rand Corporation. I thought that was pretty interesting, to be honest.
Yeah, Ward was far and away the best
Ward
character.
was far and away the best character. His actor didn't really have to pull that much because a lot of characters were kind of flat in the show, but Ward's arc was most interesting. Like, I thought he was a drug addict. He's like, my dad's a fucking douchebag. Ward was honest, and he felt like one of the most genuine characters. Like, how someone would react at first. At first, he's like, Danny Rand's a fucking psychopath, and he's not the real Danny Rand. Like, Danny was killed 10 years ago. Which is kind of weird that he didn't really think Danny could be alive, because he knew his dad was a reincarnated zombie, so...
Yeah,
but at first it was also kind of like, I don't know, because if this is an imposter, I'm going to get fucked over.
Yeah, Ward is a very, very strong character, especially
Yeah.
for Marvel, which usually just has, like, quick machines.
I really hope Ward, like, make a season 2. I mean, this show probably will get a season 2.
I wish
even
Ward
though it
would get his own
trashed,
show where Ward was just, like...
sitting around doing
shit.
Ward shit,
Doing
popping
Ward shit.
prescription pills and crap.
He's popping Oxy, and then he, like, goes to a business meeting, and he's like, you're a fucking bitch, dude, and I'm gonna buy you down.
And Ward,
I'd
like...
watch that show, Iron Fist, every
Like,
fucking
Joy
day.
had a kind of an arc with, like, the same thing as Ward, where she was kind of like, I want this to be the real Danny, but then business things, and then in the end she realizes, like, family's more important, sort of. And Ward kind of goes through his arc where it's like, I'm fucking... Oh yeah, the dad was the final boss. I forgot about that part where he gets fucking
I actually
murdered.
fell asleep, but then you told me right after. I fell asleep during the final
Yeah.
fight, but then you're like, Danny Rand punched his head off and threw him out of building.
No, he,
I'm
like, kicks him in the face, and then the dude, like, fucking
whatever.
Jamba flips off the fucking...
Whatever.
Rand building.
I fell asleep for that last part, but...
But digressing from that, Ward, I liked Ward. I mean, he had complications to his character. He had the most reasonable arc. I don't think Danny really had much of a way to grow. I mean, I guess he kind of wanted to appreciate New York more. And his arc was more about kind of getting back what he thought was his and kind of doing what he thought was right. And I guess he also kind of had an arc where it's like, I shouldn't kill for revenge. I kind of gotta follow my own path and not necessarily just follow what I've been told. As the Iron Fist, like, he decides his own destiny. He's not just a weapon, which I liked, because then the hand is kind of parallel where everybody there is used as like a weapon. And he's like, so how is fucking the Shaolin monks any different from fucking the hand? But he overcomes that arc, sort of. And yeah, so I thought the show was pretty good. I don't really understand why people hated it. Compared to Luke Cage and Daredevil, I think, I haven't even seen Jessica Jones, because Jessica Jones just looks like trash. And I've heard it's trash. And, well, I've seen like half of an episode, and it was kind of trash, but I don't know. I liked Daredevil better, and I liked Luke Cage better, but I don't know. I didn't think it was like just a terrible abomination like these fucking Polygon websites were like, it was too boring for me, and he didn't even have a superhero costume, and he should have been an Asian guy. It's like, well, you read a comic. It's not even, no, don't even read a fucking comic. Just look up the fucking Wikipedia page and you find out he was a white guy right away. Then watch the fucking show and it explains that even the fucking Asian people are kind of pissed that the white guy became the Iron Fist, because they're like, oh, the Asian, this Pakistan guy deserved to be fucking Iron Fist.
Yeah, okay.
But it's about being your inner personality. If anything, it kind of so it takes away from racism, I think, in the show, because like they're like, it's so racist. He wasn't Asian, but the idea is like anyone could be anything. You know, like a black guy could be the Iron Fist too. It's just about like being worthy. But I guess since it was a white person, it's not. It's racist rather than
Fuck
fighting
Donald
racism.
Trump. Fuck. All white people should genocide.
Yeah, honestly. I think Donald Trump should start shooting his fucking Apache missiles.
Well,
at white
Donald
people.
Trump's not my president. Hillary Clinton's my president.
Yeah. I mean, Hillary Clinton doesn't have any power. What the fuck is this thing of toilet paper doing here, by the way?
Just to clean up the tobacco that you guys spilled all over.
I didn't spill that shit.
3 times in a row.
Last night.
Yeah. That's why there's tobacco all over the
Fuck, I was trashed last night.
Whatever, we're both trashed. Anyway.
All 3 of us were trashed. Come on.
So finish your thoughts.
You can't say me and Joey were trashed.
I was a lot less trash than you two, dude. I was trying to keep this on track. The
You were
footage don't
fucking
lie.
trashed. Let's watch the footage.
Nice of the princess to invite us over for a picnic, eh, Luigi? I hope she made lots of spaghetti. No?
Okay. Iron Fist was okay. Danny Rand was not a strong character. Danny Rand was kind of like a little bitch. He cried a lot. He whined a lot. He bitched about things. Joy was not really a strong character. She kind of just like, at first she was like, I don't believe you're Danny Rand, and then she was just like Danny Rand's lackey. The villain, Harold, was kind of a strong character. I like how he was like the Green Goblin from Spider-Man, where he's like a crazy person and he like killed the guy because the guy didn't like ice cream. He was just like a crazy person, and I think that's kind of a really fun villain type, you know, where it's just like someone who's fucking off their rocker and just like doing whatever they want, whenever they want. So I thought Harold was a kind of cool villain. The Pakistan guy who secretly works for the Hand was like, he comes in like the 8th episode, and they don't really establish him, setting him up for season 2. The Asian girl was weak, especially like the twist where it's revealed that she's part of the Hand is like really stupid.
I think she should have been more conflicted about it, because like,
and honestly, yeah, she should.
That was rushed. Like, it was like, this happened, and then she was like, I'm signing with the Hand, and like 30 minutes into the next episode, she's back with Danny. I think it should have been like a conflict where he's like, you gotta get Danny or something.
The leaders of the Hand are both kind of like mediocre. Like the Asian lady's especially mediocre because she like killed Danny Rand's parents, but she's basically just like the Hand leader. Like that's just her character. That's all she does. She just leads the Hand. The Indian guy was a little more developed, where it was kind of like he pretended that he was a good guy, but really he was just like a super asshole who was just trying to like trick people into being in the Hand. But really, the strong point of this show is Ward, who is far and away the best character in any Marvel Cinematic Universe property. I mean,
pretty good character.
Ward.
What about Pops, dude? Pops from Luke Cage, where even Method Man was calling him out Pop. Remember that when Method Man's like, oh my god, R.I.P. Like, did everybody
Ward
get
was
their
like-
haircut at Pops?
Yes. Well,
You
have you ever seen the
was
movie
hey,
Barbershop?
Pops, R.I.P.
The movie Barbershop.
Yeah.
But
I
anyway,
think fucking Method
Ward
Man was going to fucking Pops' thing in the middle of the Bronx.
Ward was a super strong character. He had really interesting arc. He was a really interesting character. Really fascinating character. He's got the drug addiction. He's pretty much right about everything the entire time.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, Danny Rand's gonna fuck us over, and Danny Rand fucks him over. He's like, my dad's a crazy zombie and we have to kill him, and then everyone's like, no, don't kill Papa because he's back from the dead, and then Papa tries to kill everybody. Ward pretty much gets shit on, like, undeservedly by every other character. Ward, far and away, the real hero of this show and the most interesting part. Other than that, I mean, I really liked Ward. The action, okay. Most of the characters, passable. The way the nurse being and everything is really obnoxious, and I wish they'd stop doing that.
She's supposed to be the Sam Jackson, but it's like,
there is a
it'd be
couple.
one thing if she's like tracking him down a little bit, or like if she cameos.
There is
like,
a couple nice references to the other Defenders where she like talks about Daredevil slightly. She kind of hints at Daredevil. She hints at Luke Cage, you know.
I think
it's not like overly done where it's like annoying. It's not like you see Luke Cage in prison, like, punching walls or something.
Okay, but she does do these things all the time where it's like, who's this guy? He seems like he would be a good friend. Like, we could be heroes for hire together. And she's like, that's my boyfriend. He's wrongly convicted in prison.
Yeah.
Probably because he's black.
Yeah, shit did
Like,
happen
in
like that.
Daredevil, it made sense she was in it. Luke Cage also kind of made sense because she's kind of around the area. This one felt more shoehorned than the other two. Like, if somehow he met, like, Daredevil for 5 minutes, like he's doing a mission or something, and Daredevil's like, you gotta keep away from the hand, or something like that. And then Daredevil, like, swings off, and he's like, but if you ever need a doctor, go to here. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe they're both fighting the hands for whatever reason, or somehow he hears about him and sends him, like, a letter, like, if you ever need help. I don't know how fucking he would find
whatever.
that.
I don't care about setting up the defenders.
I'm not saying set up the defenders. I'm saying set up how the nurse just bumps into these people, because the nurse is like, now I deliver Chinese food or something. She just shows up at Jessica Jones' house and they have like a lesbian sex scene.
There was some really fun. There were some really fun scenes in the show, like the fight with the drunken master.
That was dope.
Fun. And I mean, all the stuff with Ward. I know Dick sucking Ward a lot, but Ward was just like such a great character.
That's an edit I'm doing too.
He was just
sucking Ward's dick. I'm gonna somehow find a way to put that together.
There you go. You got the picture. So
I'm gonna now take that picture.
You just gotta edit.
Get a picture of Ward and then.
Nice of the princess to invite us over for a picnic, eh, Luigi? I hope she made lots of spaghetti! No?
You know, there was a couple of things at the end of the show that were kind of like so stupid that I wanted to die. Like when it's revealed that Danny Rand's friend, Pakistan Man, is part of the Hand. Was stupid, and then when Pakistan Man recruits Joy to be part of the Hand,
that's the only reason they established.
Cringed myself to death.
That's the only reason they established.
But you know, overall, the story is pretty generic. Pakistan Man is clearly going to be anti-Iron Fist.
Well, it's clear because he was anti-Iron Fist in the comics.
The cliffhanger at the end, where they like go to the Chinese Buddhist temple ghost island thing. And it's not there. It's kind of better.
They're all butchered.
Well, yeah, it was fucking bad. You know, overall, the show itself is passable. It's pretty much just passable all around. Like the strong points, even the action's not like amazing. Ward is definitely a strong point for me. Everything else is just like pretty baseline. I would put it's definitely worse than Luke Cage. Not worse, but like underneath Luke Cage, underneath Daredevil Season 1, and it's probably about equal with Daredevil Season 2.
I thought Season 2 was dope.
Season 2 was definitely dope. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the Punisher stuff was awesome, but
I'm excited for that Punisher. I hope that's good.
You know, Iron Fist, it's a little weak. It's worth watching. People hate on it because it has white people, but overall, it's decent. It's got the strongest character in the Marvel Universe. It's got decent action. It's got a couple fun action scenes. And really, the biggest flaw with it is that Danny Rand's character is so like half-baked, where he's just like this massive whiny bitch, and he just like keeps whining and bitching about things all the way up until the end. I think Danny Rand probably could have
whine. He just sits there and like makes tear faces and shit.
Yeah. Danny Rand should have been like.
I think complains like a 12-year-old.
Danny Rand should have been like more focused as a character, where he like. Not even an arc really, because he kind of had an arc, but like he was less obnoxious.
I didn't even think he was obnoxious. I just think he was kind of just. He was just kind of a like. It was supposed to be his story, but it kind of felt like the only reason it was his story is because all this shit was happening around him. Yeah. Sort of, if that makes sense. Yeah. And then he just kind of fought because he was obligated to do so, sort of, is what it felt like.
Also, I can't speak for the actual final battle of this show where Iron Fist kills Harold because I fell asleep, but I'm sure that was a pretty cool fight. I don't know.
It was like, I don't remember super
Last
well.
thing
I think he
remember
pulls
was
out
like-
a gun and gets the Asian girl captive, and then he basically, he kind of runs around, and I think he kind of knew karate. I don't fucking remember the fight. I'm pretty sure I was high or something.
This show probably could have benefited from being like 3 episodes shorter because a lot of it was kind of like
It had to.
it dragged on a little bit.
I'm saying it either had to be shorter or it had to be longer, because
I could
shorten it up, cut out some plot points, and clean it up. Like season 1, what I think they should have done with season 1 is he should have had to kind of gain his trust and go back into the company, because it's like if this was 20 episodes, then they could have established in like 5 or 6 episodes how he gets back into the Rand Corporation. It would have felt like a good payoff, but this is like nobody will leave. He's in the mental hospital for an episode, and then the next episode, by the end of the next episode, he's the fucking owner. He's the majority owner of Rand.
Yeah.
And then the following episode, they're trying to kick him out. It's like they didn't give enough time to establish like a steady, like this is the goal for him. It's like this is the goal, but then on the hand arc, this is the goal, and he's juggling 50 things at once, and they put it in 13 episodes. So either shorten it down to like 10 episodes and then make it like the 2 arcs, like he's trying to get back into Rand Corporation and kind of have them gain trust for him, which was kind of like one of the arcs, but kind of go in more depth with that. And then he's trying to fight the hand and kind of eventually maybe finds out Joy's part of the hand, and or well, not Joy, what's her face? Asian girl. She's part of the hand. And then she rejoins him and make that part of an arc, and maybe make it take like 2 or 3 episodes for her to become a good guy, and then kind of focus on like his parents getting killed, maybe a little bit as a side thing, but like
So you know what was really strange?
it's too much.
That part when everyone gets kidnapped by the leader of the Hand, not the Asian girl, but the Indian guy, when everyone gets kidnapped in the apartment, and we're supposed to be worried for Harold, because Harold's about to get his head chopped off with a katana.
But Harold was just established as the biggest bad.
Literally, like the previous episode, Harold murdered his assistant for not wanting to eat ice cream with him. So like Harold's like a mindless, horrible zombie. And like I get Danny Rand not understanding that and trying to protect him.
Yeah.
But like the audience is supposed to feel suspense for this mindless zombie getting killed. And I didn't feel that. And
I mean,
the editing made it seem like I was supposed to care really much,
well,
like really
here's
bad,
the
because he was like the Indian guy's like about to cut his head off and like starts swinging, and there's all this intense music. Like, I wanted Harold to get fucking decapitated because he was a fucking zombie.
But here's the 2 things that fell short. If it was that old Asian lady, because she's like the Hitler of the Hand, where this guy's like the fucking Castro of the Hand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where it's
it.
like he thinks he's right, and he's kind of like slightly less heartless, like he'll do what he has to do, but he kind of is more like friendly than fucking Asian kills whoever you want type of Hitler type of fucking thing. Like, it's like the 2 different types of dictators. So he's a more sympathetic villain, and I would say he's more sympathetic than Harold. And Harold could have been handled better in the show, where we should have seen before, because what he basically did is he sold his soul to the devil to live, which is kind of a greedy move, I guess. But was Harold a douche beforehand, or was he a good guy, and maybe because of what the Hand did, he's just become corrupted, and he's like, all right, now I'm the biggest asshole ever? Like, if that was the case, and then it was the old lady, like,
it's also implied
that he's the lesser of 2 evils.
It's also implied that like every time Harold dies, he gets crazier.
Yeah, no,
like
that's pretty flat out said.
When Ward kills him, he gets even crazier.
And that's when he kills Kyle.
Because by this time he's been killed at least twice, right?
Yeah.
Or is it 3 times?
I think it's twice, because he died. And he was killed by Ward. I
Yeah.
don't know if they mentioned any other times
And
he was
then
killed.
after he comes back from this is when Ward's like, oh, this is kind of fucked up because Harold starts fucking killing people. He just literally kills people for no reason. And he threatens to kill Ward,
It's
and he's
pretty
like,
well implied.
Ward, you're the worst piece of
You're
shit son I've
disappointing.
ever had, and I wish you were dead and shit. Like, Ward's
He
just trying
becomes
to...
a dick.
Ward is literally just trying to protect his sister, and Harold's, like, murdering
Yeah.
people. And we're
Ward-
supposed to feel sympathetic for Harold?
See, Harold and Ward are both
Because-
weirdly directed. Because Ward, I think he should have been a dick. Like, I think Harold should have been, like, the good guy that, like, it's like, basically he sold his soul to the hand, or, like, the devil, metaphorically, and that's what's making him worse every time. And maybe he gets redeemed at the end, or maybe we should feel slightly sympathetic for him because maybe he was a great guy, but he made this bad decision so he could live, which is an understandable, like, if you were faced with that choice, what would you do? And then it makes him evil. Then maybe at the end it's more of a noble death or something, or like, but at the end he's just a straight up bad guy. So it's like, I don't know if when he was the leader of Rand, if he was supposed to be super fucking evil. And then Ward, they paint him off in
They
editing.
paint Ward like the fucking
They
villain.
paint him like a villain when he kills his dad.
And then he's
editing.
the fucking hero. Ward
But-
is literally the most heroic person in this
Yeah,
movie.
I mean when
show
he fucking
thing.
when he kills Harold, it's like
Serious.
it's like obviously if you're watching the show, you're thinking he's killing Harold because Harold became a huge dick. But because of editing, I think Kyle should have got killed before Ward killed Harold. Because then I would be more like, oh, let's kill him. At this point, Harold just kind of seemed like he was a little bit crazy and probably a little bit corrupt, but not like evil. So when he kills him and how the editing painted him to look like such a bad guy for it, that was kind of a misstep. Because I could tell Ward was a good guy the whole time. I could see where his arc was going past like episode 2 or 3 where he was no longer just like a comical like corporate villain. And I appreciated that they went that direction eventually, but the editing throughout the show never really gave Ward like
The credit he
like
deserved.
there were a couple editing things that took him back on his character arc. Like you look at it and you're like, well, here it just looks like he's murdering his dad because he's jealous or something, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, final thoughts. I would definitely go into watching this with an open mind. I mean, unless you have anything else. I think
No,
transition
no,
is
go
way
for your
fine.
final thoughts. I have final thoughts too. So.
But I'd go into the show with an open mind. If you liked Daredevil and Luke Cage, I think you'll appreciate this show. If you like the comics, you'll probably appreciate this show. Also, if you're just like, I want to see this for superhero suits and fighting, probably don't go into this. If you like kung fu movies and shit, you'll probably like the show to an extent. But it's one of those things where it's not a straight superhero show, and I think that's another thing that was turning off fans. And
Yeah, no, it wasn't like Daredevil where like 3 episodes in he's got the suit.
I mean, Daredevil took a while, season 1, but season
Yeah.
2 was a pretty straight superhero show. And Luke Cage also built up for like 3, 4, 5 episodes, but when he was in the superhero suit, it became a pretty straight superhero show.
Yeah.
After like that first like heist or whatever, where he breaks down the gun factory.
Yeah.
But this one, he doesn't even have a superhero suit. I wouldn't even say, like, this show is an origin story that's honestly probably going to continue a little bit in Defenders before we finally see the payoff of him being full-blown martial arts, Lone Ranger mask, fucking full-blown kung fu expert guy. But right now, it's quite an origin story. For that, if you really like corporate shows, I think it's an interesting enough drama I would go into it with an open mind. Don't listen to the reviews. I mean, unless you're gonna be like, they whitewashed it, and then don't watch it because you're just a fucking retard anyways. But if you want to see a good show, I would say it's definitely worth the time, especially if you're just looking for something to watch.
Yeah. Pretty much what you said. Iron Fist is good. You got to go into it with an open mind because it's like it's a lot slower It's a lot slower paced than Daredevil or Luke Cage were. Like a lot slower paced. But you know, it's solid and it's worth watching. I really don't want to like drag on my final thoughts. I'm just gonna leave it at that.